afternoon and welcome to today's show. I'm Coach Manny, and as always, I'm fired up, excited, and ready to rock with today's show. And this is as we kind of conclude our 2018 year, and it has been a year of live video and training. And today's training is going to be a little bit different. One of the things I've done for you out there is you can see I've already shared a link for you that you might want to use later. We'll tell you what that link's for, but don't worry about it. It's just to ask you a question and to see if you want to learn a little bit more about the kind of stuff we're teaching today. And actually, if you want to see some more videos, we're not doing them all live. So anyhow, I'm excited to have you here today. And for those of you who haven't been here before, we teach, and today's teaching is on what is it going to take to make 2019 your best year ever. And I'm happy. Thanks, Steve. Happy New Year to all of you out there, too. It's good to have you all here. I know for some of you it's late morning, and some of you are on the other side of the world. I don't know what time of day it is, but if you're here with us, it is really great to have you as a guest. I'm Coach Manny, and my business is really helping companies to increase their sales. That's what I do. And I help companies to do that through increasing their process of getting things done. And let's remember, 2019 is the year you are going to get so much done, and that is going to rock your company to unbelievable levels of success. So today is a little bit different program. We're going to start talking a little bit about how to put that plan together, and we're going to give you some keys to learn and get some more free video out there so you can even learn more. And those of you listening to us on a podcast, on a rebroadcast here on our podcast, everything you need is out on the webpage for the episode. So good to have you here. I think it is time, let me get my notes up here, for us to get started. You know, what is it going to take? And this, I think, is our first question. What is it going to take to make this your best year ever? And please share this episode with people out there. It's good to have you here out there. I see Stephanie out there. I see Steve out there. I see a bunch of other people out there. And it's just good to have you. And let's get started. You know, I don't want to be talking too much about everything else, but I just want to thank you all for watching this year, for being customers, for buying products, and for helping us to really get the 90 Days to Success launched. What is it going to take to make 2019 your best year ever? That's really the question. What is it going to take to make 2019 your best year ever? What is it that you're not doing that could make a huge difference in next year? And sometimes, you know, we got to step back. We got to take a moment, and we don't do this too much, and reflect. How did I do? What did I do right last year, and what did I do not so well? Where did I excel, and where did I really mess up? Because that's what teaches us, isn't it? And if you've read my book, Failure Creates Success, you see that in there, that we're always talking about you got to look at what you're doing to understand what you're not doing as well as you could and what you could do better and how. So first question to you is, do you want 2019 to be your best year ever so far? Okay, because 2020 going to blow that away even further, right? So, but you have to be committed. Do you want this? How bad do you want it? You know, there used to be an old, I can't remember the old saying, but how bad do you want it? How bad do you want 2019 to be your best year ever? Do you feel it? Is it in your gut? And if you haven't read that book called Grit, I highly recommend it. just a super book about just going for it and what it takes inside. You know, talent is great, but you need that extra little push. And that's what we talk about on this program all the time. That extra little push that's going to take you over the top and make you that superstar. And the final question is, are you ready, willing, and able to commit what you must to make it happen next year? Because you have to be all three. You have to be ready. You have to be ready. People talk a lot about what they want to do, and you know that whole thing about New Year's resolutions and how people are going to do this and how they're going to make this happen, and how it never does happen. So you have to be ready. You have to be willing, which means I'm going to do whatever I need to do. Now, I want you really, if you really want to make next year your best year ever, you got to be willing to do what you need to do. And as I always say, it's got to be legal, moral, and ethical, of course. But whatever you got to do to make it happen, let's go for it. Do not hesitate. So many of you, not necessarily you that are listening, but so many people out there, they want it, but they're not willing to do it. Everything gets in the way, and everything's an excuse, and everything is a reason why they can't go that far. Well, ready, willing, and you have to be able, of course, which means, you know, for those with a lot of talent out there, you guys have all the talent. For those with a lot of grit out there, you got it. For those with a little bit of both, you got it. Let's go for it, and let's make this the best year ever. So one of the ways we do that is we have a process called 90 Days to Success. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is, you see the link we shared out there? What I want to ask you to do is to, after the program or during whatever floats your boat, I want you to click on that link, and it asks you one simple question: what's your biggest time management problem? And what happens is, if you give us that and your email, we're gonna give you the rest of the videos in this series, because today is really just a start, and we have a bunch more free teaching to help you make 2019 your best year ever. And they're coming out over the next week. You'll get probably 3 or 4 this week videos that are going to walk you through the process. So please take the link, sign up, and get those free videos, because they're just like what we're doing today. It's just teaching to help you understand how we help people plan and make things happen in their life. And it gives you a great feel. Of course, are we going to ask you at some point to buy? Of course we are. But whether you buy or not, there's so much free stuff. You can still do so many things without spending the money. You might not be in a position to spend money this year. But remember what I said: ready, willing to do whatever you got to do this year to make it happen. Come on. Let's stop hesitating. Let's stop coming up with excuses. Let's just go for the gold. So where do we start? Well, where do we start? We start with a foundation. And many people, when they look at a 90 Days to Success, I always hear this thing say, Manny, that's just another short-term American solution, right? It's just another thing where it's like the stock market and all those things. But 90 Days to Success starts way, way, way out there, and then works all the way back. Now, what 90 Days to Success means is that we build an action plan for 90 days, but we build a life plan for 30 years out. All right? Let me just repeat that one more time. We build an action plan, because when it comes to doing something, you really can't think more than 90 days at a time. I mean, a lot of us think we can, but when reality sets in, thinking 90 days at a time takes a lot of energy. And doing things and knowing what I want to do, if I know what I want to do over the next 9 days, that's great. And here's the tasks and all that, and I make it happen. If I got to go beyond that, it just confuses me so much. So we build what's called a foundation. And that foundation asks question number 1 is, What, where, how, what is it going to look like 30 years from now? And I know if you're one of those older people out there in their 60s, you say, 30 years from now, gosh, I don't even know if I'm going to be around, Manny. Come on, do you really want me to think that? Yes, I do. And if you're, in your 20s and you're listening today, I want you to think 50 years out. Because I want you to think, where am I going to be? And in today's world, if you keep your health and you keep your wealth, you can live a long time. And most of you entrepreneurs out there, you're not going to be happy just sitting around doing nothing. You're working people. You love it, just like me. I love what I do, and I'm going to plan on doing it as long as I'm capable. And when I'm incapable, I hope the Lord takes me home. All right? But we'll work from there. So first point I want you to do is I want you to think, and I don't want you to do this right now, but unless you're watching this on tape and you can turn it off and then think and come back, or you're rewatching it, whatever. But the first thing is we think 30 years out. 30 years from now, where am I? What does it look like? I don't care how old you are, just answer the question. What are you doing? What is life like? And why is that where you want to be 30 years from now? Why do you want to be there 30 years from now? And for me, what does it look like? I am still writing. I am still doing some live video. I am still enjoying life. I'm doing live video from the shore, from the deck. That's what it looks like. And what are you doing? I'm still reading. I'm still educating. I'm still teaching. But, I'm just not doing it 60 hours a week, maybe. And why do I want to be there? Because I believe, and this is my belief, this is my 30 years, sorry, 30 years, is because that's why I'm here. When I'm no longer able to do that, I hope I get to go home. So, now, all right, so that's what I want you to picture first. And then I want you to go 10 years before that and say, okay, if 30 years from now, this is where I want to be, then where am I going to have to be 20 years from now? You see how we're working? You can't be here 30 years unless you are here 20 years from now. And we're going to walk that all the way down to 90 days. And that's what makes this work. That's the beauty of the 90 days to success. That's what will help you to be successful. So where do you want to be 20 years from now for that 30-year goal to really happen? Again, what does it look like? What are you doing? What's life like? And why do you want to be there 20 years from now? And the why may be simply so that I can get to the next step. Or it may be because that's really where I want to go. And 30 years from now, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing. Doesn't matter. Where and what does it look like 20 years from now? And we're going to take another step back, right? And now we're going to ask the same exact question. Where do you have to be 10 years from now in order to get to your 20-year goals? I wish, a lot of time, and I've been working with a lot of long-term stuff, but I wish, man, if I could get a hold of this and get my hands on this in my 20s, if I look 30 years out, I'd be in my 50s and I'd be done and doing who knows what, right? You can move the whole world with this process. So where are you going to be 10 years from now to hit that 20-year goal? And the same questions. Ask yourself, what does it look like? What are you doing? What is life like? And why do you want to be there? Yes, I know some of you may say, well, once I get to this place in 10 years, the rest of the time I'm just going to lay back and enjoy the island. And that is okay. Nobody's here to criticize you. But remember, This is your plan. If you don't know where you're going nowhere. And I know it's a hard statement, but please take it in. If you don't know where you're going, in the long term, you're going nowhere. So 30, 20, 10, what's next? Of course, logically is, okay, so if I'm going to be there 10 years from now, where do I need to be 5 years from now? And again, the same exact questions. What does it look like? Where are you doing? What is life like? And why do you need to be there? From 5 years, we go to 3 years. And now we're getting better, right? Because we're getting into something that you might be a little bit more familiar with, that you may have had experience with. Yeah, I can think that many years out, Manny, but when you want me to start thinking 30 years out, I go a little wacko. It's all right. I'm sitting here, I'm drinking my new blueberry tea, okay? And just take a sidebar here for a minute. This stuff is so good, this blueberry tea. Not taste that good, but if you are battling cholesterol or you just want to keep your cholesterol under control, check out that blueberry tea. It's amazing stuff. But all right, so we looked at 10 years, 5 years. Again, next point is, where do I want to be 3 years from now? And again, ask yourself those same questions. What does it look like? What are you doing? What is life like? And why do I want to be there? So we started 30 years out. We went to 20, to 10, to 5, to 3. And now here we are. Where are we going to be 1 year from now? But ask yourself the added question. Where are we going to be 1 year from now, so that 3 years from now I can be there, so that 5 years from now I can be there? And you see, that's how the process works. You know where you're going, and all we're really trying to teach you in the seminar today is, when you know where you're going, you're going to get there. And that much you can take to the bank. So where are you going to be a year from now? What does it look like? What are you doing? What is life like? And why do you want to be there? This is what you're used to, right? I mean, used to, most of you sit there and you say, well, a year from now, I'm going to be here. But the difference that I want you to understand is that 1 year builds to 3, to 5, to 10, to 20, to 30. And that's what makes your life what you want. That's what takes you to where you want to go. That's why it works. When you've answered those questions, you have set the groundwork to make any and everything you want happen in your life. I want you to take a moment and think about that. And when you're done watching this, I want you to take those notes and I want you to go sit down, and either today or tomorrow or in the next couple days, I want you to really write out some detail. I work with a lot of my clients on this. This is one of the first things we do, because if I can help you, if I know where you want to go, I can help you get there. And get more than that. If you know where you want to go, you can help you get there. And guess what? You're going to make it. And it's just plain amazing. We are very short-term thinking. But I want you to do is think and plan long-term. But when it comes to execution, that's when we're going to work with 90 days at a time. So we now, if you finish all that stuff that I gave you, and you piece all that together, and it makes sense to you, take some time, because it's not that simple and quick and easy. Don't rush through it. Don't just, I got to get this done. You don't have to get it done. You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for you. Really. And if you need pictures or diagrams or video or something in your plan, put it in there. That's what the great thing about today's world. 30 years from now, This is what it's going to be. 20, 10, 5, 3, 1 year. Wow. Now what we can do, once we have that, we can say, okay, now let's work 90 days at a time over the next 30 years and watch what happens, even over the next year. And I can tell you, using this process myself and having clients use it, they're like mesmerized when this happens. So now it's time to build your first 90-day plan. And then we're going to build a plan right now, if you're watching this live or early, for January to March. Always remembering what we do in January to March will affect how we go through the rest of our days. You have a link out there, which I shared with you earlier today, and I think I'll put it out there again in case for some reason you can't get it. Yeah, there it is. All right, so what that link is, that's a link to a question that I have for you, and I'd ask you to answer one little question for me today. And that question is, what's your biggest question about time management? We're still working on getting better and better and better and improving our process. So if you'd answer that for us further, today I've just started to tell you about how the process works, right? We built the foundation, we laid that out. Now, we're going to do some, over the next week, we're going to do about 4 more videos. They're not going to be live, but we're going to send you the link to those 4 videos. And they're going to take you from where we're at today, which is, we were talking about long term. They're going to walk you through this whole process. And the process says, where do you want to be 90 days? What are your goals, tasks, measurements, and accountability over that time period? Then it will take you to, how do I do this on a weekly basis, all the way down to the granular level of how I do this on a daily basis. And that's what we're going to teach you over the next week. Now, if you answer the question for us, then we're going to share these videos with you. And of course, we're going to hope that somewhere along the line you think about coming into the 90-day process, but it's a heavy commitment and it's a expensive commitment. Whether you do that or not, watch the videos and learn. One of the great pieces that we do, the reason things work, you know how I teach you a couple things. One is watch who you hang out with, because those are the keys to your success. And the second thing is make sure you're consistently learning and taking in more information. So one of the things we do is every week we teach, give you more keys. Every week we do Q&A, and those are the kind of things we'll tell you about later, but not today. Today I just want to tell you, please take the link, answer the question, and watch the videos. They're free. They're yours. Just watching the 5 videos with today and the 4 other ones will take your life, business, and career in 2019 to that next level and cost you nothing but your time. So I encourage you to please answer the questions, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you.